English is hard sometimes. I'm not sure how with such breaks between videos I still managed to make a spontaneous video, but this is a spontaneous video. And sorry that I look like a piggy, but I don't know what's up with the lighting. The lighting is very yellow and I'm pink. My skin is actually more yellow than pink in real life. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I decided to make a video about, I mean, it's gonna be a mix of other two videos I have, which is the how to do a real Polish accent, the best video on this channel, and the other less known video, which is the video about things that I still find difficult in English, because I can make so many more examples in this topic. Not really when it comes to grammar, because, well, I make grammar mistakes a lot. I confuse articles and tenses and conditionals sometimes even, and this kind of stuff, but I don't really have this many examples to just point out. But when it comes to pronunciation, I hear it all the time in my videos and I can point out a lot. So many people in the comments, I feel like many people in the comments try to convince me that my English, I mean, that my pronunciation and accent aren't that good as I think they are. And especially because of the thing I said in the how to do a Polish accent video, that I speak American, but that was partially a joke, as I already explained. The thing with that is that I compare myself to other Polish people, not to Native Americans. And I still think that for a person who hasn't graduated any degree in language specifically, nor has lived in a foreign country ever in her life, I feel like my pronunciation is pretty good. Especially that my pronunciation is still developing and it's still getting better year after year. And you might not hear that much as I do, but when I watch my older videos, I'm like, how the hell could I pronounce it that way? That hurts. So yeah, there are still things that are confusing. Well, maybe not confusing because I know how to pronounce them, but the things just don't work, you know? Or just when I talk really fast, I sometimes say things not as I should say them. So the first thing is something that is really a problem for Polish people, and I also talked about it in the other video, and it's the E and I issue. Issue. Some people even have a problem in hearing the difference, let alone speaking the difference. Native English speakers might not even realize this, but there's a huge issue with pronouncing pairs of words for them to sound different, like steel and still, or beach and bitch. This is a hard one. This is the one that you might hear Polish people mispronounce. It's really bad though. And fill and feel and this kind of stuff, it takes a while to get it right, I think. And well, not for all Polish people, of course, and it might also apply to other nationalities, of course. And the thing is that in Polish, the only E that we have is E, right? And even though there are some equivalents in Polish to both of those sounds, it's still pretty confusing. And I don't know how about you, if you heard a lot of Polish people speaking English, but I hear a lot that even though the E sound is more natural for us, I think, Polish people tend to use the shorter one way more. Like, I heard people saying queen instead of queen. How is that even possible? I guess some people just tend to eliminate the Polish sounds when they try to speak English or something, and they think that they would sound more English if they get rid of the E sound, but actually the E sound is very much in English. Probably an equal number of words have both of the sounds, so. And I still find it very confusing, especially in mixes of words. I remember making an example of Grim Reaper, or TV dinner. This is a hard one for me still. It's a problem. Another thing is something that I've never talked about yet, and it's a very common problem, and I even saw it in the comments of people whose like grandma is from Poland or something, and it's the problem with U's and A's. Yeah, in Polish we have one A sound. It's A. And when we first start learning English in primary school maybe, even preschool maybe, we learn some basic words, and for example, we learn the words bug and bag, and both of them are mostly taught to be pronounced the same, because it's bag and bug, right? And this is so wrong. Like, these are two completely different words and they are supposed to be pronounced differently. But these two are still a problem for me. Bug and bag. Like, and stuff and staff and this kind of stuff. And I know that I sometimes pronounce the U a bit too much, like O or something. Like in the word much, I guess, because I don't want it to sound like match, you know? I also mentioned the R and L problem for me. Yeah, it's still a thing. I have a huge problem with pronouncing words or sets of words that have a lot of R's and L's in them. I even have some R and L problem in Polish, let alone in English. So even simple words like girl might be difficult for me. An exception is the word literally, because I literally have no problem with this word, I think. And remember, really relatable lyrics? I think one of the worst words for me to pronounce is squirrel. I don't know. I don't know if there's a problem with the R or with the L. It's wow. And when it comes to L's, I feel like I just pronounce this letter really wrong in English. I don't know, especially when there's another consonant next to it, like in the words like simple, incredible. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it the proper way and I cannot make it better. It's as good as it gets. I am just unable. I feel like I make the L sound a bit too deep in my throat or whatever. But I know that my pronunciation of April got better lately because I watched Gilmore Girls, which is really hard to pronounce though. And I'm finishing the series already and there's a girl whose name is April, so they just constantly say April, April, April. And I know that I used to say it like April or something like that, and that wasn't really right, I guess. But it just stuck in my head from watching this series to say it like April. I can't really pronounce the SH and CH sounds. I don't know. I make them sound too Polish. Shh. Yeah. At least I feel that way, especially when it comes to the CH sound. I don't know. And as S and C is sometimes a problem for me in spelling, then when it comes to pronunciation, it's Z and C. And it's probably not only a Polish thing, because as I don't really hear that much accent in PewDiePie's speech, I sometimes hear that he pronounces words that have Z with S. And that's also a problem for me, because sometimes when a word has an S, you're supposed to say it like an S, and sometimes you're supposed to say it as a Z. So it's a bit confusing, because on one hand you have confusing, and on the other hand you have episode, right? I remember saying episode, that was the worst. And I also used to say asylum. Like, no. And I heard people saying the word episode so beautifully, and I didn't know why I wasn't saying it that way. I couldn't really recognize that it was the Z sound. This is ridiculous, because my hearing is mostly pretty good when it comes to sounds and music and stuff. And when it comes to Polish people, I think this issue comes from the fact that it's very natural for us to make consonants voiceless. So I guess I was just trying to go the opposite way and make the voiceless sounds voiced or something. I'm not really sure what I was doing. But yeah, it's a thing for Polish people. You might also hear Polish people saying heart instead of hard, because it's just very natural for us to make the consonants voiceless. And since Polish is a language when you most of the time read all the letters in the words, it's really odd for us to not read a letter in a word. So I used to have a real issue with the silent B. And Arlena Witt's video enlightened me in this topic. That's probably the most useful video of hers that I've watched. I mean, useful for me, of course, because she made 13 examples of words that have a silent B, that you're just not supposed to pronounce the B in them, and I only got 5 right. It's ridiculous. Even in the word numb, I hear the B. I hear the subtle B, okay? I don't know. Probably just my brain makes it up or something. I don't know. Am I delusional? Oh, the deep throat L. Always sexy. Yeah, and the words like climb and numb and even the word like comb. It's so weird. How the hell do you read tomb that way? How is that possible that it's comb? Some things in English just don't make any sense to me. And there are also words that I don't pronounce the American way, even though I definitely prefer the American way. And one of them is kind of funny, actually. Mostly I make the silent T like in the word interaction or something. It depends. I am sometimes too lazy, but I will never say panties like pennies, because it sounds way too much like penis in Polish, and it's a penis. I mean, it's just a penis, but I don't want to say underwear as its genitals, right? So it's kind of weird, and I will never say it that way. Another thing is mobile or mobile. I'm not even sure how Americans pronounce it, because they don't really use this word that much. When it comes to phones, when I watch series, people just say cell phone or something. But still, I definitely wouldn't pronounce it that way, because it just sounds weird to me. How the hell did it even evolve to become mobile or mobile? It's mobile. And I know that if I said mobile or mobile in front of Polish people, they would not understand what I'm even saying, because we sometimes use this word when it even comes to the phone service brand T-Mobile, right? So I am so used to the mobile thing that I will not change it, because mobile is weird. Also, the word template. I am really used to saying template because I always said it that way, and I know that is the right pronunciation, it's correct, but it's way less common than template. And I catch myself saying template in my head lately, because I use this word a lot in my head, okay? When I make thumbnails for the thumbnails, not thumbnails, for the videos, or even when I edit videos or play Sims or whatnot. And I might start saying it like template one day, but it'll get a bit of getting used to. So a while ago I also made a decision on how to pronounce a certain word, and it's direction. I think it's more common for Polish people to say direction and direct. Even in names of brands in like commercials, you hear direct. And I know it's not really a difference between the British and American English, it's individual. So I also made it individual and decided to say direction, direct, directly. But the thing with that is that it's a little bit more complex than that, because one native English speaker can either say directly and direction, or the other way around. Like, it depends on the context. I even talked to Wes from Feather and the Wind about it when we met up in Warsaw, and it appeared so weird to me when he said that he says direction but he says directly or something like that, that it just depends. And I was like, wow, is it only this one person or is it more common? And then I heard in one of Captain Sauce's video that he also makes a difference depending on the context. That's amazing. So at the very end, I will tell you what's the word that I cannot spell. I am just hopeless. I can see this word every day and I will never remember how to spell it. It's not really a regular word, it's a name of a state. Try to guess. Massachusetts. I know I saw this word so many times and I just keep forgetting how it's spelled. But that's just me. Okay, so that's gonna be it. I hope this video was relatable. I don't like saying that word because it's R's and L's all over the place. I really like analyzing things when it comes to language and also talking to natives about certain things because I am just a very curious person in this topic. So if you're a native, leave a comment about the direction and directly thing or something, and just some other observations that I can just, you know, think about because I like to think. And that's gonna be it. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye. Pink hand again. O kurwa, nie mogę. Co za debil. O Boże, dobrze, że jestem sama w domu.